أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, and welcome to another one of your GT classes. I hope and pray that today everyone is in the best of health, and I hope that today's lesson is beneficial for each and every one of you. So nonetheless, let's start off with our class rules. Please make sure that you are in wudu, so you have done your ablution. Your heads should be covered, so if you are an atfal, make sure that you have a cap on top of your head, or if you are nasrat, make sure that you have a scarf on. Please make sure that the video icon has a red line across it. Please do not use the raise hand facility unless asked by a teacher. It can get very hard for the support teacher to sometimes pick students and put them to the mic because people are too busy raising their hands. So please make sure that you do not use the raise hand facility unless I have asked you to do so. Please listen for your ID and be ready if a teacher calls you. Please check that you have logged into your correct IDs, and you can do this by going into the participant list, finding yourself, and changing your ID to the correct ID by using the rename facility. Otherwise, do not mess around with the ID because only the correct IDs will be called to the mic. Make sure that you are in a quiet place where you can hear. Always listen to everything said in class, whether you are on mic or not, and a parent or elder should ideally be with you. And if again there are any questions or issues, do not hesitate to contact info@nqc.org.uk. So, what are we doing today? Today is Tuesday, the 18th February 2020. The surah that we will be covering is Surah Al-Layl, which is chapter 92 of the Holy Quran, and it's also known as the night. And there are two rules that we will be focusing on today. So we have waqf on Fathah followed by a ya. That's the first rule. And the second rule is waqf when mad saghir is indicated. And our main aim is to get as many students to the mic as possible today. So we will have many students trying to reciting the surah for us. So, as always, we will start off with the starting dua for our class. Assalamu alaikum, co-host.
Walaikum salam.
May I please have a student to the mic?
Yes, our first student is A7408.
A7408. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
How are you today?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm good, alhamdulillah. Thank you very much for asking. Okay, can you start off with Dawood and Tasmiyah and recite this dua for me, please?
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربي زدني علما.
And the translation?
O my Lord, increase me in knowledge.
Good, perfect. Nicely recited. Just remember that you have, what letter is this?
Idal.
Dal. And is that one of your kalkala letters?
Yes.
Yes, well done. So whenever a dal comes up, because it's one of our kalkala letters and it has a sukoon or a jazm on top, we will make sure that we give it a slight jerking sound, okay? So, Rabbi zidni ilma. Say it.
Rabbi zidni ilma.
Perfect, beautiful. That was very nicely recited. Jazakallah for your time.
Jazakallah.
Take care, Allah Hafiz.
Office.
Okay, so the two rules that we have today is let me just get Surah Al-Layl out. Okay, so before we start, I want to point out this here, this rule here, and same here, and we will basically be seeing how we're going to stop at the end of these verses is our main aim, okay? So just to start off before, this that you see here is a tha with a ya connected to it, a vertical fatha, and a mad saghir, okay? One thing to note is here, as you can see, that we have an example with yas'a, and you have a vertical fatha on it with an ain and a ya joined to it, okay? Now, whenever we stop over here, all right, it can either be because it's the end of a verse and we follow the sunnah of the Holy Prophet. So say that there is an end of a verse over here and we're meant to stop. We will make sure that there is no change and that you prolong it for 2 counts, okay? So it will remain the same, just the way we said yes over here. We will say yes over here as well, okay, when you stop. So that's the same for when you do Surah Al-Layl. And here, as you can see, you have a sheen. So ideally, if we weren't meant to stop here, it will be something like yakhsha. But because we are stopping here, because it's the end of the verse, we will say the same. We will recite it like yakhsha, all right? And we will prolong it for 2 seconds. The same applies over here. You have a ya joined to the lam, and therefore we will prolong it for 2 seconds. Over here, it's a bit different. Well, if we're stopping, we're going to apply the same rule because we have a ya joined to the tha, and we will say untha, all right? But say you are not meant to stop, then you have a mad saghir, okay? This is a madda, right? This is called mad saghir, and whenever this comes up, we prolong it for 3 to 5 seconds. If we were not meant to stop, all right, we will say, we will recite it like Untha inna sa'yakum, all right? But we will always aim to stop at each and every verse of ours. So we will only say Untha, okay? We will make sure that we do not prolong the mad saghir in this, and that we only prolong it for 2 seconds when we finish this verse, okay? So yeah, we're going to start off with some students reciting this surah, and we'll see how far we can get with this. Co-host, may I please have another student to the mic?
Yes, our first Naswa is N8401.
N8401, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, alhamdulillah. Jazakallah for asking. Okay, would you like to start off with Dawood and Tasmiyah, and can you please recite this word for me?
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والليل إذا يسر والنهار إذا تجلى وما خلق الذكر والأنثى إنه يكن لشتى فلما من أعطى واتقى.
All right, nicely recited. There are just a few things I would like to go over. Do you know what this sign is?
Is it a second?
Okay, no. So it's a tashdid, okay? Do you know what happens when we have a tashdid up here?
Like we emphasize it.
We emphasize it, beautiful. So whenever you see a tashdid on top of this letter, so we can see a lam right now, okay? We can see a lam with a tashdid on it. So we will make sure that we put pressure on this letter in particular. So rather than saying walayli, we will say walayli. Say it. So try and say walayli. Assalamu alaikum.
I'm sorry, your voice is cutting.
Okay, sorry. Okay, could you now repeat after me? Say walayli.
Walayli.
Okay, so you put pressure on the lam, okay? Good. And what letter is this?
Gha.
Ra, perfect. So when you say yaghsha.
يغشى.
Good. So as I explained earlier on as well, that this is when we stop over here, how long do you prolong it for?
2 seconds.
2 seconds. Perfect. Even though we have a ya next to it and we have a vertical fatha, but because we are stopping, it's going to remain the same, yeah? Okay, perfect. Can you say this letter for me, please?
Za.
All right. Whenever you say this, it should come out something like the, okay? You get the tip of your tongue and you place it sort of in between, behind your teeth, okay? So in between and behind your teeth. So it should sound something like the, all right? Say it.
The.
Perfect. That sounded much better. And again, you know that there is a tashdid over here, right?
Yeah.
And whenever you see the tashdid, we make sure that we put emphasis or we put pressure on top of that letter. And therefore, rather than saying tajala, we will say tajalla.
Tajalla.
Perfect. And over here again, where we've come across a tashdid, okay, and we put pressure on it. So you will say something like خلق الذكر. Say it.
خلق الذكر.
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 Perfect. Okay. So again, we have a tashdid and therefore we put pressure on it. Over here, we will say والأنثى.
والأنثى.
All right. Why are we hiding this noon over here? Why are we doing that?
Because it has a sin after it.
Yeah, it has a tha after it. That's right. And do you know the 6 letters that don't allow us to hide the noon, give the nasal sound? Do you know them?
I know some of them.
Okay, so yeah, tell me, what are they?
Sin.
No, so 6 letters. All right, so let me just take you through this. Just 2 seconds. All right. So let me just take you through this rule so everyone can understand what this is. So it comes up as reading light nasal. So whenever you do ikhfa, this rule is also known as ikhfa. And so it says, when you see a noon sakin or a tanween, you must look at the letter next to it. All right. Is it a mushaddad? Is it a ba? Or is it any one of these letters? Now these are the 6 letters I was talking about. So you have alif, hamza, ha, and ha here. You have a kha, you have ain, and you have ghain. So these are 6 letters. Whenever they appear after the noon sakin, then you make sure that you read the noon fully, and you do not give it a nasal sound. Okay. So you make sure you do not give it a nasal sound. But in this case, in the 2 examples they've given us at the bottom here, you can see that there is a noon sakin, okay? And what letter is after it?
Za.
Za. So is za part of these 6 letters? Is it part of these 6 letters?
No.
No, yeah, that's right. And is it a mushaddad? It's not. Is it a ba? No. So we make sure that whenever we say it, that we hide the noon and we give it a nasal sound. So rather than saying فَإِن زَلَلْتُمْ, we will say فَإِن زَلَلْتُمْ. Okay, say it after me. فَإِن زَلَلْتُمْ. Okay, فَإِن زَلَلْتُمْ. Perfect. So it's the same over here. We had a noon sakin, right? But because tha is not a lam mushaddad, it's not a mushaddad, it's not a ba, or it's not one of those 6 letters that we've just looked at right now, alif, hamza, ha, kha, ain, and ghain. So therefore we make sure that whenever this noon comes up, that we give it a nasal sound, okay? Moving on. What letter is this?
Ayn.
Ayn. Perfect. So whenever this ayn comes up, you try and get your voice out from the bottom of your throat. Okay, use your bottom of your throat to say this letter. Sa'yakum. Say it.
Sa'yakum.
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 Okay, beautifully recited. Make sure this is a thin letter. It's not a thick letter. So whenever you say this letter, you should try and give it sort of a smiley face. Sa'yakum.
Sa'yakum.
Okay, good. And this here is alarm. All right. Sorry, this is an alif. Sorry, I got that wrong. This is an alif, and therefore, I think you misread it like when you were reading. I think you called it alarm. So when you read it, make sure you say fa'amma. Okay, say it.
Fa'amma.
And if you look at this, what letter is this?
Ta.
And is this one of the 7 thick letters that we know?
No.
A ta is one of the thick letters that we know, yeah? So ta is always a thick letter. And make sure whenever you say this letter that you have a circular mouth, a round mouth when you say it, yeah? So you will say ta. Say it.
Ta.
Perfect. And again, when we finish off, we have a qaf with a vertical fatah and a ya joined to it. So how will we finish off? How will we say it?
Will we like prolong it for 2 seconds?
Perfect. So you will prolong it for 2 seconds. Even though you are stopping, there is no change to the word whatsoever, yeah? All right. Perfectly recited. Jazakallah. Jazakallah for your time.
Jazakallah.
Take care then. Allah Hafiz.
Laugh it.
Okay, co-host, may I please have another student to the mic?
Yes, our next student is A7408.
A7408. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
How are you today?
Good. I've already read.
He just did the dua.
Oh, okay, it's fine. Even if you've read the dua, that's fine because I would still want you to read the surah, yeah?
Okay.
So it's fine. You can recite this. So can you start with Dawood and Tasmiyah? And please start from this verse here, yeah?
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصدق بالحسنى يسره لليسرى وأما من بخل واستغنى وكذب بالحسنى فسنيسره لليسرى.
Okay, perfect. Beautifully recited. Just a few things I want to say. So you started off by reciting from here, so you read it perfectly fine. But what letter is this here?
Ira.
Ra. Okay. And is it a thick letter or is it a thin letter?
A chin.
Okay, so it's a thick letter, yeah?
Ah.
Let me tell you why. So let me just 2 seconds. So right, here we are, okay? It's a thick letter. So Ra is thick and heavy if it carries a Fathah or a Dhamma on it, yeah? Sakin Ra is also thick and heavy if the letter before has a Fathah or a Dhamma. So yeah, we don't need to know about this bottom part. So for example, this is a ra and it has a fatha on it, yeah?
Yeah.
Will we read it thick or will we read it thin?
Thick.
Thick, perfect. So we give it sort of a circular mouth when we say this letter. We will say rafa'a.
Ra-
Say it, rafa'a.
Rafa'a.
Perfect. And this is a ra with a dhamma on it. So is it going to be thick or thin?
It's gonna be thin.
So it will be thick. Do you know why? Because the ra needs to have a fatha or a dhamma on it for it to be thick. All right?
Okay. Yes.
So it has to have a stroke on top of the ra. It has a fatha. Here we can see it has a fatha and here we can see it has a dhamma. So that's why we will make sure that we read the ra in a thick, we give it a thick sound, yeah? Ra or ru. But however, if it has a kasra underneath, yeah, do you know what a kasra looks like, yeah?
Yeah.
So if it has a kasra underneath, then we will make sure that we give it a thin sound. That's the difference. If it has a fatha or a dhamma, we make sure that we give it a thick sound. If it has a kasra underneath, then we give it a thin sound. So it will sound something like ri, yeah?
Yeah.
So do you see the difference when I say ra and I say ri?
Yeah.
Because you can see that ra is giving, I'm giving ra a thick sound and I'm giving ri a thin sound, yeah? And
Yeah.
that's the same thing that we do here. Your waqf rule, you applied perfectly fine. You know that you have a ya, even though you have a ya, nothing will change. Whenever you finish, you will prolong it for 2 seconds, right?
Yeah.
And you will say yusra.
Yusra.
Perfect. So that's the thing I wanted to point out. What letter is this?
Ita.
A ta. Perfect. When you were reading, I think you accidentally read it as a na. So it's wastaghna.
Vastaghna.
Beautiful. Even your ghain, you recited it beautifully. And can you say this letter for me?
Is it a za?
Yeah, it's a the. Perfect. Whenever you say it, as I was saying before,
Waqza.
gadha, beautifully. You put your tip of the tongue in between your bottom and your top teeth, okay? So gadha.
Waqadza.
Perfect. And you have a tashdid here. That means that you need to put pressure on the letter, yeah?
Yeah.
Perfect. What is this here?
Is it a noon sakin?
So a noon sakin is, for example, here, if you take a look at it,
Oh.
if it has a jazm on it or a sukoon, then it's going to be called a noon sakin, yeah?
Yeah.
But this one doesn't have a jazm or a sukoon on it. This one has got a dhamma on it. And how long do we prolong that for?
And 1 second.
1 second, perfect. So rather than say prolong this and saying no, you're gonna say no. You're only gonna read it for 1 second. So fasanu,
Fasanu.
perfect. And this scene over here, again, what's this here?
A that's a I forgot.
Okay, that's fine. So it's a shadda, yeah?
Okay.
Shadda or tashdid, you say. And since scene has got a shadda on it, what will happen to the scene? What will we do?
We're gonna join it.
Yeah, we will join it, but we will also make sure that we put pressure on that letter. We put emphasis on it, yeah? So rather than saying yasiruhu, we will say yasiruhu.
Yasiruhu.
So you need to instantly join the ya with the scene. Quickly join it and put pressure on the scene. Yasiruhu.
Yasiruhu.
Perfect. And how will we say this letter here?
And we're gonna pronounce it for 2 seconds.
2 seconds. Perfect. So usra.
Usra.
Beautiful. As we can see, it's a thick letter ra, yeah? Why is it a thick letter?
And because it has the
It's got this vertical fatha on it, right?
oh, yeah.
So we know whenever a fatha or a dhamma comes, we make sure that we Read it thick, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. That was very well recited. And yeah, take care then. Jazakallah for your time. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz. Co-host, may I please have another student to the mic?
Yes, our next Nasra is N8402.
N8402. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, alhamdulillah. Okay, so can you start with Dawood and Tasmiyah and start from here, please?
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وما يغني عنه ماله إذا تردى إن علينا للهدى وإن لنا للآخرة والأولى فأنذرتكم نارا تلظى لا يصلاها إلا الأشقى.
Okay, beautifully recited. That was a very nice recitation. There's just one or two things I want to point out. This letter right here, what is this letter?
Ain.
Ain. And whenever we say this ain, we try and get the sound out from the bottom of our throat, yeah? So, anhu.
Anhu.
Perfect, yeah? And what is this? What is this here?
I forgot what is it called, but you make it longer.
Yeah, perfect. You make it longer. It's called a mad saghir. Yeah, it's called a mad saghir. And whenever this comes up, we prolong it for 3 to 5 seconds, yeah?
Yes.
And we have an inverted dhamma here as well, but we'll make sure that we prolong this for at least up to 3 to 5 seconds, yeah?
Yes.
Perfect. So you will say, ma lahu.
Maluhu.
Perfect. And again, can you recite this letter for me, please?
Inna alayna.
Beautifully recited. Your ayn sounds much better now. And yeah, you recited this verse perfectly fine. Moving on to this verse. Again, when you were doing your nasal sound, you sounded very nicely. Okay, you recited it very well. So, of course, whenever we have the noon sakin, we know that the is not part of those 6 letters. It's not a mushaddad and it's not a ba, and therefore, whenever it comes up, therefore, since the is not part of those letters, we make sure that we give noon the nasal sound, or we hide the noon when we say it. Yeah. So you did that perfectly fine. And this is this a thick or thin letter?
Is it thick?
Yes, it's a thick letter. So when we say it, we will say talazza.
Talazza.
And we give it a circular round mouth when we say it, yeah? Talazza.
Talazza.
Perfect. And what is this?
Lam.
Lam. And it has a tashdeed on it, yeah?
Yes.
So whenever we have a tashdeed come up, we make sure that we put pressure on it, yeah? So illal.
Illal.
Perfect. So yeah, nicely recited. Jazakillah for your time. Take care
Jazakallah.
then. Allah Hafiz.
Lafi.
Okay, so one thing I wanted to bring your attention towards was this over here, okay? We have alam, but as you can see, we have a blank alif here and a blank alif here. Now, the thing we need to bear in mind is since these 2 letters don't have anything on them, they don't have any stroke, we will make sure that we do not read them. So we will eliminate them. So in our minds, we're literally just going to take these 2 letters away. And we look at the next letter, we have a lam, and we can see that it has a jazm on it, yeah? Or a sukoon. Therefore, rather than joining the lam to this alif or this alif, we will join it to this lam here because it has a jazm, it doesn't have a stroke on it. But these two letters, they don't have strokes on it, therefore we will not read them, yeah? So do bear in mind whenever you come across such a thing that you look at whether what you're joining it to has got a stroke in it. In this case, the lam has got jazm on it, and rather than joining this lam to any one of these two letters, since they don't have anything on top and they're blank, we will make sure that we eliminate them, take them out of our recitation, and that we join this lam to the lam that's actually got a jazm on it, yeah? Alright, perfect. So co-host, may I please have a student to the mic?
Yes, our next student is A7364.
A7364, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
How are you today?
Good, alhamdulillah. How are you?
I'm good, alhamdulillah. Jazakallah for asking. Okay, would you like to start with Dawood and Tasmiyah and start off from here, please?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الذي كذب وتول وسيجنبها الأتقى الذي يؤتي ماله يتزكى وما لأحد عنده من نعمة تجزى إلا ابتغاء وجه ربه الأعلى لا ولسوف يرضى.
Okay, beautifully recited. There are just a few things I want to go through. Do you know what this is?
Is it a kasra?
This one here, this little W, what is that?
Tashdid.
A tashdid, beautiful. And what do we do when a tashdid comes?
Prolong it for 2 seconds.
Yes, so we don't really prolong it for 2 seconds, but we put pressure on it for about 2 seconds, yeah? So we put pressure, we put emphasis on that letter. So we will say كذب.
Kazzaba.
Beautiful, yeah? And here, as I said today when we were doing the rule of the day, going back over here, we can see that we have an ayn with a ya on it and a vertical fatha. What you need to know is when we are stopping, because it's the end of the verse, there will be no change, and you will make sure that you prolong it for 2 counts, for 2 seconds. So before stopping, it's going to sound like yes, but even after you stop and you know that you're meant to be stopping, when you're doing waqf, you will say the same. It will sound like yes, yeah. So did you see any difference?
No.
No, perfect. So same with here, we have a ya joined to the lam and we have a vertical fatha on it. Nothing's going to change. Even if you're stopping over here, nothing will be changing, yeah? So it will sound something like وَتَوَلَّى.
Watawalla.
Perfect, yeah? And what is this? What's the sign on top of the scene?
Is a fatha.
Yeah, perfect. It's a fatha. Whenever a fatha comes up, how long do we prolong it for?
1 second.
Yes, perfect. We prolong it for 1 second. So vasayu.
Wasayu.
Perfect, yeah? Only prolong it for 1 second. And again, we have a tashdid over here. We make sure that we put pressure on that letter. Since noon has got tashdid on it, we put pressure on the noon. So jannah.
Jannah.
Perfect. And did you see I did not prolong it? I said jannah. I didn't say jannah. I only said it for 1 second. Why did I say it for 1 second?
Because it has a tashdid.
So I said it for 1 second because it has a fatha on it, yeah? So whenever there's a fatha, whether it has a tashdeed on it or not, always just say it for how long?
1 second.
1 second. Perfect. What letter is this here?
Aleph.
Alif. So you will say atqa.
Atqa.
Perfect. And is qa one of our thick letters or is it our thin letters?
Sick.
Perfect. Qaf is one of our thick letters. And whenever you say this letter, we make sure that we, when we recite it, that we give it a round circular mouth, okay? Atqa.
Atqa.
Perfect. And again, we prolong it for 2 seconds because even though we're stopping, since it has a ya joined to it, we will only prolong it for 2 seconds, yeah? Moving on to this over here. This is a kaf with a tashdeed on it, yeah? A shadda on it. Whenever a shadda appears, we make sure that we put pressure on top of that particular letter that is bearing the shadda, yeah? So, tazakka.
Tazakka.
Perfect. And again, we prolong it for 2 seconds because even though we're stopping, nothing is going to change in that rule of ours. Again, this is an alif, and you will prolong it for how long?
1 second.
Perfect. We prolong it for 1 second because it's got a fatha on it, yeah? Okay. And here we come across a noon sakin. And make sure that whenever you come across a noon sakin, that you look at the letter that's after it. Always look at the noon sakin. Whenever you come across a noon sakin, look at the letter after it. What's the letter after it?
Adal.
Perfect, it's a dal. So, do you know the 6 letters that don't allow us to hide the noon or give it a nasal sound?
I forgot.
You forgot. Okay, let's go back to our ikhfa letters, yeah? That's page 14. Right? Whenever you see a noon sakin or you see a tanween, you need to look at the next letter, yeah? Is it a mushaddad? Is it a ba? Or is it one of these 6 letters, yeah? You have alif, hamza, ha, and ha here as well. You have kha, ain, and ghain. In our instance, what happened was we have a dal. Is dal one of those letters that we just looked at?
No.
No. So that is why we make sure whenever a letter is not amongst those other 6 letters that we've looked at, that we hide the noon, we give it a nasal sound. Since dal is not part of those letters, we give this noon a nasal sound, yeah? So,
Dahu.
perfect. Another example I want to give is here, right? You have a tanween. In the rule that we were looking at right now, ikhfa rule, it said whenever there is a noon sakin or a tanween, we have a kasratain. This is also tanween. We have a kasratain over here. And we will always look at the next letter, ain. Is ain one of those 6 letters that we looked at?
Yes.
Yes. So we read the tanween completely, read it fully. So we will say, ahadin indahu.
Ahadin indahu.
Beautifully recited. Perfect, yeah? And what letter is this?
Ja.
A ja. And do you know your kalkala letters? Do you know your kalkala letters?
Is Qaf one of them?
Yes, Qaf is one of the kalkala letters. So we have 5 kalkala letters. We have Qaf, Ta, Ba, Jim, and we have Dal, okay? The letter we looked at right now, so you need to know that whenever we have a kalkala letter come up and it has a jazm on it, right? We make a sukoon or a jazm on it. You make sure that you give it a slight jerking sound, yeah? So here we have a jim. Is that one of our kalkala letters?
No.
All right, let's go back and check. Qaf, ta, ba, jim.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, so it is one of our kalkala letters. And we give it a slight jerking sound because it has a jazm on it, yeah? So tujza.
Tujza.
And again, what sign is this?
Mm,
Do you know the name of it?
I'm not really sure.
You're not really sure. Okay, that's fine. This here is a mad saghir, yeah? A mad saghir. And whenever this comes up, ideally we know that we are stopping over here because it's the end of the verse, yeah? We're stopping because it's a sunnah of the Holy Prophet. And we know that there is a ya over here. And so we, of course, make sure that nothing changes, yeah? As we looked at the rule earlier on, nothing will change if it has a ya attached to it, right? It has a vertical fatha on it. If, say, for some reason you were not stopping, then you will prolong this for about 3 to 5 seconds because of the mad saghir. So you will sound something like tujza illa batigha, yeah?
Yeah.
But because we are stopping, the mad saghir rule doesn't apply over here, yeah? You only prolong it for how many seconds?
2 seconds.
2 seconds, perfect, yeah? So nothing changes. So repeat after me. Tujza.
Tujza.
Perfect, yeah? And again, what's happening over here? What letter is this?
Abba.
A ba. And does this have a jazm or sukoon on it?
No.
Well, here it does, right? You have a jazm. Yeah, perfect. So it's a jazm or it's a sukoon. And is this one of our kalkala letters?
No.
So let's go and check. Qaf, ta, ba. So it is one of our 5 kalkala letters, yeah? So you need to give it a slight jerking sound. Illa batigha.
Illa bitigha.
Okay, and you read this lam in a very simple way, very simple. Illa batigha.
Illa bitigha.
Okay, rather than saying labi, because you're joining these two together, you're gonna give it a sound of lab, right? Lab. Illab.
Illab.
Perfect. So you have a lam here and you have a ya attached to it. So how long will you prolong this for even when you're stopping?
In 2 seconds.
2 seconds. Perfect. So lastly, what letter is this?
Azza.
Okay, so this letter is a dot, okay? Whenever this dot comes up, we give it a thick dal sound. So do, repeat it.
Do.
Perfect. And is do one of our letters, thick letters?
Yes.
Yes, perfect. So whenever we say it, we give it a round circular mouth. So we will sound something like yardo.
Yarada.
Perfect. So yeah, does it make much more clear? Does it make more sense to you now? All of these rules that we have looked so far at your calcula rule, yeah?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay then. Jazakallah for your time. Take care then, yeah?
Yeah.
Allah Hafiz. Allah Hafiz. Okay, co-host, may I please have another student to the mic?
Yes, our next Nasra is N8397.
N8397. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, alhamdulillah. Jazakallah for asking. Alright, would you like to start off with Dawood and Tasmiyah and start the surah off for me, please?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الذي كذب وتولى وسيجنبها الأتقى الذي يؤتي ماله يتزكى فما لأحد عنده من نعمة تجزى إلا ابتغاء وجه ربه الأعلى ولسوف يرضى.
Okay, so yeah, beautifully recited. Just a few things I want to say. You have a kaf here. So what is this here?
أشهدها
A shadda, perfect. So when you say it, you put pressure on that letter. So zakka,
زكى.
perfect. Now this is something I want to explain to you. You have a noon sakin, yeah?
Yeah.
And whenever a noon sakin comes, we do know that we need to look at the next letter and see whether it is a mushaddad, a ba, or it's one of the 6 letters alif, hamza, ha, kha, ain, ain. We need to make sure that if it's not part of those letters that we know, then we hide the noon, we give a nasal sound, we say mil, yeah? We know that, right?
Yes.
But this has a shadda on it, yeah?
Yes.
And one thing you need to know is that a shadda is always going to be dominant. So it's going to be much stronger than a jazm. And we know that because whenever a shadda comes, we always put emphasis, we always put pressure on it, yeah?
Yes.
So since we have 2 joining signs here, when a jazm comes, you join that letter to another letter, and whenever the tashdid comes, it's also one of the joining letters. You will join that letter with something, yeah? But tashdid is much stronger than a jazm. So whenever we come across such a situation where you have a jazm and a tashdid placed right next to each other, you can see that there is a noon sakin and there's also a noon mushaddad. But even though they're placed next to each other, you will eliminate the noon, yeah? You will cut the noon out. And you will only join the meme to the shadda, to the noon mushaddad, yeah? Why?
Yes.
Because the shadda letter is much more stronger than a jazm. So rather than saying min ni'matin, you will say min ni'matin.
من نعمة.
Yeah? Why did I didn't apply any sort of nasal sound over here because even though it's a noon, but it's got a shadda on it, and whenever there is a mushaddad, you will make sure you give it a clear sound, yeah? So yeah, that's something I want to talk you through. So shadda will always remain stronger than the jazm. So we make sure that we eliminate the letter that has the jazm and look at the letter next to it with the shadda, yeah? Here we have a tanween, and the next letter is, what letter is this?
تا.
Ta. And is ta one of those letters that I just spoke to you about right now? Alif, hamza, ha, kha, ain, ain, ba, or a mushaddad?
No.
No, okay? And that's why we give this letter a nasal sound. So we say ni'matin tujza.
نعمة تجزى.
Beautifully recited, yeah? And again, we have a ra. We give it a circular mouth whenever we say it, okay? So you whenever you say you be something like, you recite it like ra. So say it.
غا.
And we will prolong it for about 4 to 6 seconds, this one over here, yeah? So yeah, perfectly recited. And again, this letter here is one of our thick letters, yeah? You know that? It's one of our thick letters. So, and we give this a thick dal sound. So rather than saying zo, we will say yarado.
يرضى.
Perfect. And a lot of students make a mistake when they say za. It's a dot sound, yeah? Do.
دو.
Perfect. Beautifully recited. So yeah, Jazakallah for your time. Take care then. Allah Hafiz. Okay, co-host, may I please have another student to the mic?
Yes, our next student is A7386.
A7386. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
All right, great. So I will ask you a few questions, yeah? Just to see how much you remember your rules, yeah?
Okay.
Okay. So first rule, let me ask you the first question. From our first two verses, where can you see a qalqala letter? So from our first two verses, where can you see a qalqala letter?
Is the Ra?
Okay. So unfortunately, that's incorrect. A ra is not a qalqala letter. Do you know what happens when we have a qalqala letter?
We make it thick. Oh no. Do we bounce on it?
Yes, it's a bouncing letter, yeah? So do you know which oh wait, I just realized there is no qalqala letter here. That's why you couldn't find it. Sorry, I thought there was a jazm on this. Okay, let me just try and find another verse where you can find a qalqala letter. Okay, look at this here. Which is the qalqala letter?
The Jim.
Is the Jim. Yeah, perfectly recites, perfectly said. It's a Jim, and we give a bouncing sound, yeah? Tujiza.
Tujaza.
Perfect. Sorry about what happened earlier. I totally thought that this had a jism on it. Okay, and from our third verse here, point out a thick letter to me.
Ha.
Yeah,
Qaf.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Perfect, that's it. So we have a kha and we have a qaf. And what happens when these thick letters come?
You make the sound thick.
You give it a thick sound and you give it a circular round mouth as well when you say, okay? So rather than saying kha, you will say kha, right?
Yeah.
So say after me, khalaqa.
Khalaqa.
Perfect. Beautifully recited, yeah? And one more question I have for you. From when you come to this verse over here and you're about to stop, how will you stop? So you can recite this whole verse for me if you want and tell me how you're going to stop. Show me.
In sa'yakum lashata.
Okay. So first of all, do you know what this W sign is?
Mushaddad.
Mushaddad. A shadda, yeah, perfect. So whenever this shadda comes up, we make sure that we put pressure on that particular letter that has it. So this is a noon mushaddad, has a shadda on it, and we put pressure on the noon, okay? So we will say inna.
Inna.
Perfect. And same here, we have a shadda here, and so we make sure that we put pressure on it. So la shadda.
Lashata.
Beautifully recited. And yeah, your answer was correct because you did prolong it for 2 seconds, yeah? We know nothing is going to change even though we're stopping here. We're doing waqf over here because it's the end of the verse and we follow the sunnah of the Holy Prophet because that's what he used to do. Even though we're stopping, there will be no change because it has a blank ya attached to it. It also has a vertical fatha, but because it has a blank ya next to it, we will just recite it for 2 seconds, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. And we have time for one more question. Right. Okay, so what will happen here? How will you say this?
You would say it mum.
Mum, perfect. This letter here is known as a miniature meme, yeah?
Yeah.
And we will give a sort of an ikhfa sound. We will sort of give it a light sound, yeah? Rather than saying mum, rather than saying that, we will give it a sort of a light sound. So let me just get the rule out for you so it's much more clearer as well to understand. So as you can see, ikhfa mim sakin, yeah? When you see a mim sakin, you look at the next letter. Is it a ba? In this case, yes, we have a ba after the mim sakin. Then you do a 2-second light nasal sound, yeah? Take the dry parts of your lips to make the mim sound and roll to join the wet parts of your lip to make the ba sound, okay? So rather than say mam bakhala, you will say mam bakhila.
Bakhila.
Yeah, you give it a slight nasal sound whenever you say it, yeah?
Yeah.
So yeah, perfectly recited. Jazakallah for your time. And take care. Allah Hafiz.
Lafis.
Okay, so before we finish today, I just want to say your homework is basically you will be covering the same surah tomorrow as well. So make sure that you go through the surah thoroughly, that you know how to stop at the end of this verse, right? At the end of every verse, but especially when you have a mad saghir, yeah? And these verses, when you have a blank ya attached to it, right next to these letters, you need to know how you're going to stop. So don't forget that you prolong it for 2 seconds whenever you stop. And same applies with the mad saghir. Unless you don't stop and you keep on reading forward, that's the only time when you can prolong this for about 3 to 5 seconds. But because we are stopping, we are following the sunnah of the Holy Prophet, we will only prolong it for 2 seconds, yeah? So that's something that you guys need to go over. Do try and go over your qalqala letters, your thick letters, and try and see, point them out in your surah, yeah? You can go, at home, open up the Quran, and just look at which part of this Quran, which verses from within the surah have got a qalqala letter or a thick letter, and try and recite it as much as you can to sort of get a good hang of how to say it, yeah? So that's your homework. Go through Surah Al-Layl and watch out for all of the rules you have learned so far, okay? All right, so as always, we'll finish our Quran class with a closing dua. So co-host, may I please have a student to the mic?
Yes, sure. N8402.
N8402, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, alhamdulillah. Okay, would you like to start with Awud and Tasmiyah and recite the surah for me, please?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم ارحمني بالقرآن العظيم واجعله لي إماما ونورا وهدى ورحمة.
Okay, and the translation?
Allah have mercy on me through the great Quran and make it for me the leader, the light, and the guidance and the mercy.
Perfect, beautifully recited. Jazakallah for your time. Take care then. Allah Hafiz. Okay, so that's it for today. Make sure that you do your homework and you go through Surah Al-Layl as many times as you can, pointing out any thick or thin letters. And nonetheless, do take care of yourselves and complete the homework as well. And hope to see you tomorrow in another one of your classes. Until then, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.